So 3 new carbines have been released for Planetside 2. There's a post currently on the Planetside 2 forum praising them about how great these new weapons are, and in fact I received an email pitching them to me, trying to get me to go and buy them. Okay. Well, if these weapons are so great, I'm sure you won't mind if I do a nice little video review of them, now will you? Let's get started with the new conglomerate carbine. This is the mercenary, the default NC carbine. And this is the new weapon, the Razor. The difference is a slash to fire rate in return for more reload speed. You can question the value of reload speed in comparison to fire rate, because a reload speed benefit will only be played if both you and your target empty your magazines at each other and fail to kill one another. Barring that situation, faster reload will rarely come into play. Considering that, my first impression of the Razor makes me view it as a downgrade. But maybe it has some redeeming features. Let's look at the certs. These are the certs for your default weapon. No ammunition change, no compensator option. Now let's look at the Razor. The Razor can equip high-velocity ammunition as well as a compensator, but those are the only differences. The compensator lowers vertical recoil in return for reducing hip-fire accuracy, and being a brighter dot on the minimap. If you spend a lot of time aimed down the sights, maybe a compensator is worth something to you, but if you spend more time in close quarters and hip-fire, maybe not so much. High-velocity ammunition increases vertical recoil, but makes rounds travel faster. For someone that can control vertical recoil fairly easily, that's not a big sacrifice and could be considered an upgrade, but then you have to remember that using it on this weapon slashes your fire rate, and the original weapon fires faster. So your option here is to pay 1,000 certs or 700 station cash, plus 100 or 200 certs more and a slash to your fire rate, to get a compensator attachment and the high-velocity ammunition attachment, and a reload speed increase. This seems a little contradictory to me. And the mercenary already had a fast reload speed anyway. Faster fire rate or faster bullet travel are your choices. These are similar, so is the change worth it to you? Furthermore, let's look at some other options. If you're going to take a downgrade to the gun stats to get an attachment, which is what you're doing by getting the Razor, you're losing fire rate and gaining marginal reload speed, which isn't a fair trade. Why don't you just go for the Gauss Compact S, which gives you the underbarrel grenade launcher? Not only that, but the Gauss Compact S can use the compensator and high-velocity ammunition, just like the Razor. But the Gauss Compact S can also give you soft point ammunition, plus an additional scope option, the 6X. If you're looking to trade weapon stats in return for attachments, you may as well get the Gauss Compact S instead, which is 500 certs less. That and the Gauss has a higher fire rate than the Razor as well. The only thing the Razor does better than the Gauss Compact S is a bit of reload speed, and a reload speed bonus will only appeal to a small demographic, and it comes at the cost of other attachment options offered by the Gauss Compact S. Not considering that weapon, you're still offered better deals elsewhere. Let's look at the ACX-11. This weapon has less fire rate, but is more accurate. It has more damage, but has a 20-round magazine, and a slower reload than the mercenary. The stats trade-off compared to the mercenary is more fair, however it can also use a compensator as well as high-velocity ammunition. In summary, I can only see the Razor appealing to a tiny group of people who want the 30-round magazine, and those attachments, and the extra reload speed, and are willing to make disproportionate sacrifices to obtain them. As a whole, other weapons offered to the NC, especially the Gauss Compact S, give you much better deals for the cost that you are making. As such, I can't say the Razor is a good weapon or worth your money, because objectively it isn't. For an individual who really loves reload speed for whatever reason, maybe the Razor is for them, but I'm not going to put my seal of approval on the weapon. It gets a thumbs down from me. The Gauss Compact S is a better deal even if you don't put a grenade launcher on it. If you really love reload speed, okay, but you are making a large sacrifice for little quantifiable reward. Now let's look at the Terran weapons. This is the Track 5, the default weapon, and this is the Jaguar, the new carbine. The difference in stats is a direct downgrade, a reduction to reload speed, making the base stats inferior to the default weapon, with no redeeming feature given. But it goes even further than that. This reload speed slash is the same one given to the Lynx, and for your trouble when you get the Lynx, you get an increase in fire rate. These weapons are the same price, so for baseline stats, the Jaguar is a direct downgrade to the default as well as to the Lynx, with nothing offered in return. The first impression is, needless to say, negative. Let's look at the certs and see if we can find something useful. The only difference is that the default weapon can access a 2x scope, whereas the Jaguar can access soft point ammunition. But that's not all. Let's look at the Lynx again. The Lynx can also access soft point ammunition, just like the Jaguar can. The attachments for the Lynx are completely identical to the ones for the Jaguar. So why would you get the Jaguar instead of the Lynx when they're the exact same price? The Lynx is just better. You would have to want soft point ammunition very badly, mixed with a distaste for the increased fire rate of the Lynx, combined with not wanting slower fire rate than the default, in order for the Jaguar to be worth anything to you at all. If you wanted some slower fire rate than the default, you would once again be led to the grenade launcher weapon, which, once again, has more attachments including soft point ammo, a 2x scope, a 6x scope, and high velocity ammunition, and a compensator. The Jaguar can appeal to a very tiny group of people who fit that specification and are willing to make disproportionate sacrifices to obtain soft point ammo, but you are still being ripped off and are making large sacrifices for little reward, just like with the new conglomerate weapon, and I will not place my seal of approval on this weapon. I give it a thumbs down. Finally, the Vanu. The new weapon here is the Serpent. The default weapon, the Solstice, fires fast and has a fast reload speed. If you value reload speed very little like I do, then the weapon next to it, the VX6, which offers more fire rate at a reload speed cost, would be a direct upgrade to it. However, the Serpent offers the same deal, just more dramatic. More fire rate at the cost of more reload speed, effectively making the VX6 the middle ground gun. For the Vanu, we have the opposite situation to the TR weapons. Let's look at the certs for these guns. The default weapon can access a 2x scope, but can't get any ammunition upgrades. The VX6 can access soft point ammunition, but not the 2x scope. Now let's look at the Serpent. The Serpent has completely identical attachments to the VX6, just like the Jaguar does to the Lynx. Now let's go back to the stats page for a minute. The VX6 offers about a proportionate trade, a chunk of reload speed for a chunk of fire rate. Now let's compare that to the Serpent, which gives you one more bar of fire rate at the cost of another large chunk of reload speed. You'll have to ask yourself, is the extra large chunk of reload speed worth such a tiny fire rate upgrade? If you value fire rate to be greater than reload speed, as I do, you can see the Serpent is better, but this particular case will be a closer contest than it normally would. I don't view reload speed as worthless, but I view it as nearly worthless in comparison to other things a weapon can have, such as larger magazine size or faster fire rate. Here's a hypothetical situation. You have two weapons. One has 100 rounds, one has 101 rounds. The weapon with 100 rounds reloads in 1 second. The 101 round weapon takes 10 seconds. The 100 round weapon is better, despite the 101 round weapon being able to kill more without having to reload. The reason it's better is because though reload speed as a whole is perceived as less valuable, the amount of extra ammunition offered, 1 round, compared to the amount of extra reload speed, 10 times the speed, is just so dramatically vast. Even if reload speed has lower value, the accumulative bonus makes it better. We have a similar situation here, where you have large chunks of reload speed missing in return for a small fire rate upgrade. At this point, you'll have to wonder how often you'll run out of ammunition on a Vanu weapon and want that reload speed to help you out. Will that tiny fire rate boost spare you trouble more than the faster reload speed will spare you trouble? Since the fire rate boost is so tiny and the reload speed so large, these ratios may be closer together than they would for other weapons. Personally, I'm not sure if I would go for the Serpent, but the contest is close and will be subject to opinion. But fast-firing weapons aren't merciful to you in this game if you miss your first few rounds. This, mixed with lacking the Terran Republic's larger magazine bonus, makes me find fast-firing weapons less appealing for the Vanu. Furthermore, had I been playing my Vanu character more often than my TR character, I would certainly have the VX6 already as a fire rate upgrade to the default weapon, and I don't think I would be very happy at another weapon that is essentially an upgrade to the one I already have, released later, with me being expected to spend certs and station cash again. For me, this creates an unusual situation. I would consider taking the Serpent over the VX6, but only because I don't currently own either, and if I already had the VX6, I wouldn't bother getting the Serpent, because I'd have already invested in the VX6 and would have spent station cash for it and certs on attachments. I don't think the marginal fire rate bonus would be worth regrinding certs for attachments I'd already have, or spending more station cash. It's a close enough race as it is for how much reload speed it asks for to make me consider buying the VX6 instead of the Serpent anyway, and that's not even considering the smaller magazine size's hindrance to faster firing weapons when compared to the TR. If you already own the VX6, I don't think you should bother with the Serpent unless you have the station cash and certs to dump. If you don't own the VX6 and you're thinking about trying a higher fire rate weapon, then maybe the Serpent is for you. Maybe. Consider trialing the VX6, and if you like it, later try the Serpent and see if you like it more. Thank you for watching my review of the new carbines released for Planetside 2. Hopefully the information has proven useful to you, and I'll see you next time.